Welcome to Nobody Asked for This. This is one of the special interview episodes that we're putting up over Christmas break. It's the intermediary between season 1 and season 2 of Nobody Asked for This. So it's Lauren.
I'm special.
Hi. What's the album called?
The album is called American Candy.
And who pray tell sings?
The Maine, which is not the state.
It's not the state. Are
It's
they
the band.
from the state?
No, they're
Damn.
actually from Arizona.
Fucking frauds.
Isn't it tragic?
It really is
I actually
tragic.
don't know why they're called the Maine.
I don't know either. I looked one time because I thought they were from Maine, and then it was like on their Wikipedia page, just like Arizona. I'm like,
Yeah.
So what is this album?
This album is an album.
Yes.
This chair is a chair. This album is, well, oh my God, it was released in 2015. Jeez, oh,
That does seem to be the case.
This album is now calling it a bubblegum pop album would not be correct, but I feel like it, I mean, despite having bubblegum on the cover, it is a indie rock with bubblegum influence.
I feel like this, the bubblegum aesthetic fits this album.
It does.
Well. I feel yeah.
And I feel like the bubblegum aesthetic is also me. So, what do you make in that face?
I looked at they played Warped Tour.
Yeah.
For this album. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
they toured with Real Friends and Knuckle Puck.
Yeah. I almost
like
went, but I was out of town.
Which are like the Maine and Real Friends and Knuckle Puck are like totally different headspaces for me.
They toured in all blue suits.
That's badass.
Yeah, they always have a
color coordination.
Yeah, and suits.
Mm-hmm. They're classy gentlemen.
I love them. So this album it's not an incredibly long album, which is another reason. It's 10 tracks. It's short and sweet. It is one of my all-time favorite albums. If you know me at all, you probably know this, and this is not new information.
So what are some of the standout tracks on this album for you?
You know, since it's such a short album, I don't feel like there are a lot. There's no track on here that's bad.
Okay.
That may be me just like losing.
I'm not here to fight back about this. I'm just here to ask you questions.
You know it too.
Yeah, I do.
You know the album. It may just be me, being nostalgic about it because it has been such a huge album in my life for so long. But I think there's maybe one semi-flat track that.
Which one?
I would say Same Suit, Different Tie.
That was what I was thinking. Yep.
Okay. And I've even come to love that one just because I think it has a fun message. I think this entire album has I'll start with the band's message as a whole. Like, one of my favorite things about this band is that they're just very underproduced, not in music terms, but they're just very removed from the music industry in a way that was what I was going to say, from consumerism. Yes, essentially. They're very fan-based, wholesome. They make things that their fans need or want to hear. It's all about mental health, positivity, loving yourself, being true to who you are, and it's not done in a cheesy way that a lot of people try to do. I feel like everything is very genuine and they're just great people. So when I first heard this album, I was 15 when it came out. So I was 16. Wow.
I was not 16 yet because it was early in the year. I fucking lied to you.
I don't think I was yet 16. I think I was about a week away.
How? No.
No, that wouldn't make sense.
March 31st, 2015, I would have still been 15.
So I had just turned 15.
Yeah.
I was going to, so I heard this, I was looking for, I have this weird thing about vacation tracks where I would do 2 albums for any vacation I went on, just so I could go back and kind of remember that vacation through music. So this album and another one of my favorite albums from a band that is now disbanded. Rest in peace, Magic Man. But those were my 2 albums that I chose for this trip to Florida over spring break. And I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I found myself. I don't know. I guess it just the combination of the emo pop, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's a fair characterization.
The pink and blue aesthetic is everything to me. It still is. I love it. I don't know. I don't
know anything about color theory, but the combination of like the soft blue and the pink is like
great.
It's great.
It's beautiful. So top tracks, it's hard. It's hard because there's not a lot. Unlost is my standout, I suppose.
I think Unlost is one of their, like, at least to the fans of the main, is one of their best songs.
Yeah.
Especially since we went to the main concert at the House of Blues in Cleveland like a month ago almost.
You can tell by the energy in the crowd. They
stop the show and they play it acoustic.
Yes.
So that's a thing that a lot of bands do, but it's with that one kind of song.
Fans of the main are it's more of a family than anything.
Yeah, it was kind of like unrelentingly positive.
Yes.
In a strange way.
I love their shows. That was my 3rd show that I've been to by them. They're incredibly simple, and yet they make the best of like having a good time and just being completely immersed in the music.
Yeah, I think their stage presence, as an outsider, I think their stage presence adds a lot to the music that you wouldn't necessarily get from just listening to the album. But so what do you like about Unlost?
When I first heard it, it's hard to express. It's a calming track for me. The lyrics are not overly complicated. It doesn't seem like it's like you wouldn't look at the song and think this is a genius song, it should go down in history. It's just a song that you hear and you kind of, if it connects with you, it's incredibly meaningful. And some people may hear it a completely different way and not think anything about it, but to me the message behind it is just very sweet and kind of, it's about embracing yourself, and kind of everyone is lost and you don't need to be completely aware of where you're going in your life 100% all the time. You're just looking to find purpose, to continue on and do things you love. You don't need to be found, or you don't need to be completely unlost. You just need to be found. And that's one of the top tracks. And that's one of the more down tracks.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
Yeah. And the rest of them are just kind of fun, loving.
I think the rest of the album is where the bubblegum aesthetic really comes through.
Yes, like in Diet Soda Society.
I fucking love that song.
Which is my mom's favorite song as well.
Shout out to Kelly.
Yeah.
Great song.
She likes that one. English Girls is also one of my faves. American Candy is another down song, but it's very not like a commentary, but I think when they do their things in the right way. Like, it doesn't seem like they ever miss a mark when they're doing it, if that makes sense. Like,
you mean like instrumentally or like lyrically?
Topically. Like if
thematically.
If they try to have a message in something, they hit it on the nose.
Okay,
it's not like you're trying to do something and it's kind of like, I see what you were kind of trying to do there. But they don't hit it. Kind of like that Post Malone album that we kind of listened to.
Oop.
I think that you can tell that they love what they're doing and the fans love what they're doing, and it is just it's wholesome compared to a lot of the things you hear today.
I agree with that. That was also the feel that I got from interacting with the fan base
Very chill, very loving.
So you said that this album was an album that you like got for spring break, like you took it as like a vacation album. How did you find it? Like, were you already familiar with the main?
No. Okay. So this was my first exposure to them.
Okay.
So back in the olden days, before I had streaming services, back in 2015, I used to skim the iTunes new releases page.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if I was looking. I remember where I was. I was in my old room. And I was skimming it, and we were about to leave. And they were like, "Do you have your bags packed?" And I'm like, "I had everything packed, but my problem is that I did not have an album, and I did not have unlimited data, so I had to download the album before we left the house."
Yep.
So I'm like panicking, and this album sticks out because it's white. The cover's very bold. It's got the bottom half of a woman's face pop with a bubblegum bubble in her mouth, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell this is, but like I played a few tracks, and I heard like the guitar, the poppy kind of, I'm a sucker for a plucky guitar riff. Yeah. And I everything that has a plucky guitar riff, I'm obsessed with it. Similarly found in all of my favorite bands, 1975, etc., etc. But I heard it and I was like, perfect, and I just downloaded it. And so when I went to go listen to it, I of course waited until we were past Georgia, because then that counts as vacation. Man,
as someone who has been in the drive from only Ohio to Florida, yeah, that's a long fucking
19 hours.
Why does Georgia last a year?
You know what? That is a great question.
Who let Georgia be a year long?
I don't know.
Dude, Tennessee is great. It's so fucking
You're through it
tiny.
in like an hour and a half.
You feel like you're making great progress, and then you hit Georgia, and
they're like, we're in Kentucky already. And I'm like, great, awesome. And then they're like, we're already in Georgia. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be there soon. No. And like 6 hours later, I'm like, we're still in Georgia. I finally made it
to you're like approaching the border, and then you remember that Florida is equally as long if you go to like the southern end.
We're like, hello, we're in Florida.
Are you guys going to like Disney?
I don't remember where we were staying in a house that was outside of Orlando.
Okay,
Claremont.
So okay.
Yes. So it's down there.
So we went to this place one year called Indian Rock Springs, I believe, which is the fucking bottom of Florida. Yeah. And that was a painful drive.
Oh.
I was like 11.
Florida's so long.
It's so why is it that long?
Florida, like the Florida Keys, good God.
It sucks.
It's terrible.
It's too fucking far.
It's too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got into Georgia, and I was like, all right, I guess we're gonna open this baby up, and I started playing it, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It just clicked with you like right away.
I looked at my mom. I was like, Mom, this album, I might have just done something here. And yeah, I kind of found myself listening to that way more than the other. Oh, we weren't staying in Claremont. We went somewhere else first. Sorry, I just realized we bounced places. We were down further in by the turtle. We went to the turtle rescue place.
I'm not familiar enough with Florida.
I can't think of the town. Anyways, we went further down, and then we went to Claremont afterwards. But I couldn't stop listening to the album. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. I'm like utterly. And this was the same trip where I discovered the Beatles. So this was kind of like a monumental trip.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So it was monumental.
A formative trip for Lauren.
Oh, it was a trip.
Absolutely.
I think
Had you just like never heard the Beatles, or was it like, okay, this is my deep dive?
My mom likes to claim that she exposed me to the Beatles. She's wrong in this.
Okay.
My exposure to the Beatles came from my friends who only listened to classic rock, who we were with on this trip. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to impress them. Because all they ever they can't relate to my music, right?
Yeah.
But I like music. So like I'm going to listen to the Beatles. So I went on and I had Revolver, right? I had heard some tracks from Revolver. So I went on and I was like, Hey Bulldog. I remember downloading Hey Bulldog. and like a few others.
Fun. That's a fun. I like that.
Yeah, you know. So yeah. So then after this trip, I went on my deep dive and found the Beatles. But I was like 15. That's kind of late.
I mean, like I had heard the Beatles, but I didn't listen to all of the Beatles stuff until last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well.
I guess.
Yeah. 2018 was when I was like, okay, it's Beatle time.
It's surprising to know that for how much I preach about how much I love music, the bad taste in music that I had up until I was like 14 was like kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Eminem pretty regularly, so I feel you on that one.
We all know about my Nicki Minaj phase. Let's
not do that. That's not what this episode is for.
This is about good music.
Yeah, we're supposed to talk about things that we like.
So I think this album was perfect for this trip. I don't know that if I had discovered it on another trip, it would have affected me so much as the sunshine and the ocean and the just overall happy mood. You know, I was 15. I had no problems in my life. And I think as I've grown up, I've related to these songs more and more. I haven't grown out of the album as I have of, say, Nicki Minaj. I think I've grown into this album a lot.
So what I've found with some of my favorite albums and some of my friends' favorite albums is that initially you find an album at a time where like you needed to hear it or something to that effect. Like it just clicked with the person that you were then, and then as you grow up, you continue listening to it, and you've turned into a different person essentially with the same music, and you find that you interpret songs. Some of it differently. And it clicks with you in different ways. That's certainly the case for some of my favorite albums. Like
when I first heard the album, my standout tracks were My Hair and English Girls.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I had long hair when I discovered this album. So I thought that's a really fun-loving song, and that's just who I was when I was 15. You know, am I pretty as well? Because who's not insecure as a 15-year-old freshman in high school?
You were 15 when you were a freshman?
Yeah, I turned 15.
That just feels weird to me. Like, I don't know. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, this came out March 31st, so I just turned 15.
Oh, I guess like the end of...
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. I feel like I was so much younger when I was a freshman. Like, that was only 5 years ago. So I guess I was 15 too. Shit.
Wow. Yeah. But I guess as I grew up, I would gravitate more towards Unlost, which was kind of a slept-on track for me until I got older. And American Candy as well. I kind of grew into them, and they developed more meaning for me. And I don't know. And I've gone back and listened to their other albums, and they're lovely. I love all of there's not a bad album for me for them. Mm-hmm. But this album simply just stands out for me.
Interesting.
I know you liked the album after this. Lovely Little Lonely.
Yes, I did.
It was just also a very good album.
It's a little more like emo, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, as I have discussed several times.
Yes.
That's more just who I am.
Yes.
To be honest.
This one is American Candy. It also, if you put those albums next to each other, it is also an accurate representation of just us in general.
I think that's
this bubblegum, this blue and bold and pink bubblegum next to the black cover, shattering glass of Lovely Little Lonely.
The iconic duo.
So yeah, this is my love. I have a really cool vinyl of it. It is bubblegum pink.
It's pink, right? Yeah, that's badass. It looks like candy.
It's a double LP, so bubblegum pink, and then I believe the other one's white.
All them candy colored vinyls just make me want to like crunch. You know what I'm saying? Just
I wish you wouldn't crunch my vinyl.
I won't, I promise.
It comes with slide outs that you can mess around with. You can put all the band members' faces in the album. It's little details like that like they create their own show. They have an indie record label. They meet their fans for free after every single show. Yeah, that was cool. They make an experience for every fan. Their merch is like very cheap. Cheap and well made. And cool. Like it's not exactly. Yeah. It's like I go to some shows and it's like you can just tell that Like, okay, this is a bad example. Maybe not. I love Demi Lovato. Don't get me wrong. But when I went to Demi Lovato, it was Demi Lovato and Little Mix. And you could just tell that they had nothing to do with this show they were putting on.
Yeah.
And
they just show up.
I was 16 at the time, and I definitely absolutely knew that. And, oh, no, I wasn't 16. I was maybe 14 when I saw them. That's real. I was in, like, I was 8th grade. And it was just inherent to me at that time, even, that it was like, I'm at a stadium.
Yeah. There's nothing personal about it.
There's nothing personal. They're not singing to me. I don't relate to these songs. They're bops. I'll dance. But to me, this album is something that I feel, and I think a lot of people feel, and whether or not you're a whole like a fan of their entire discography, or you just come to one random show, they make you feel included and that you're part of it, and they want you to have a good time regardless.
They made those first timers dance.
Oh, yeah.
I was so glad I didn't put my hand up for that shit.
Oh, it was so good.
So they like made the crowd part around this one guy and make him dance.
Yes, the lead singer is so charismatic and so adorable, and
he does stand-up comedy, right?
The fattest crush on him.
Yeah,
he might.
I think he said that he did.
He's hilarious.
It feels like it. Like it really feels like a musical.
He's like a
routine,
talented, musically talented John Mulaney, if you will.
Yeah.
If John Mulaney had musical talent, I see it.
You know, I think maybe you're sleeping on John Mulaney. I think maybe you're sleeping on John Mulaney. He might have some musical talent.
He doesn't.
We don't know yet.
No, I do know, because his special's coming out and he has said explicitly that he has no musical talent.
Oh, is that a thing?
And didn't you hear him say, "The bread of bread is bread"?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, it's when he's talking about the Catholic Mass.
Which one is that?
Kid Gorgeous.
Ah.
The bread of bread is bread.
Maybe I do remember that. I don't know. Anyways, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't know. I like it.
It's good. Good album.
It's a good album. When I get my Unlost tattoo, when I gain the funds.
When no money come in.
Yeah, well, okay, it was supposed to be my first tattoo, and then my friend was like, "We're doing it together. Let's get matching ones together." And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll postpone it. I didn't think I was going to postpone it this long, because I had him autograph it for me when I met John, and he knew what I was doing. He saw I said, "Can you write Unlost?" And he looked at me. He said, "You gonna get this tattooed?" And I said, "I don't know, maybe." And so he wrote it like 3 different times.
Amazing.
Yeah, what a gem. Love him. Yeah, I think if
who would you recommend this album to?
I was thinking about that. I said, I feel like there's something in this that a lot of people could enjoy. I wouldn't recommend it to people who like screamo. That's not it.
All right, so Nate, don't listen to this album.
If you like country, probably don't listen to this album.
Mom, don't listen to this album.
It's anyone seeking good pop rock or acceptance or just anything. You can't find new music and you want something that's like deep but like not that deep. Happy albums. I don't know. There's a mix in here. I feel like no matter what you listen to, there's probably at least one of these songs that you could probably be like, "Hey,
that's cool."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Lights up. I would say to listen to Diet Soda Society.
Slaps.
My song with my friends here in Athens is Another Night on Mars.
Oh,
Did you
that
connect
just clicked.
that?
Yeah, that just clicked.
That song's about just having a good time with your friends on what feels like Mars. But, I mean, Athens is kind of its own Mars.
It really is.
So
it's like a foreign world.
So that's our song here. But I would say if you're just dabbling in the main, or you just want to listen to the song because you love me and you want to hear what I hear, Diet Soda Society, English Girls, and Miles Away. I really like that beginning riff in Miles Away. The and it kind of fades out. I
wonder if that's a reverb pedal. Yeah, it must be, or maybe not.
I'm glad we said that at the same time. That was good.
We had the same thoughts. Yeah. I wasn't paying enough attention to the guitar player's pedal board when we were there. I was watching the bassist, honestly. The guy with the weird hair.
He's great.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a good bassist.
You know, I always get Garrett and... because I literally can remember one of their names. Yeah. It's either Garrett or the one I can't remember. And then I forget Garrett.
Garrett is the bassist.
Garrett's the one I haven't met.
Yeah, he's the one with the fucked up haircut. Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the guy. They actually do, I've told you about this, but they did this really cool thing after they were after American Candy, when they were making the album Love Little Lonely, which is also a really good album. I would recommend that one as well. They did this thing where they went to this remote cabin in somewhere in the Rocky Mountain area, or maybe it was, I'm not sure where it was, to be honest. It could have been like Washington. Are there mountains in Washington?
Pacific Northwest.
I don't know. They were somewhere.
I feel like maybe the Rockies end up there.
Yeah, they were somewhere very remote.
Yeah. And Montana? Like that?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
And they were in this house, and they locked themselves in there for maybe a month to write this album.
Artist retreats are really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So they documented the whole thing and did this really... Their photographer, Lupe, is so cool. He does all their photography, and he filmed this documentary that is called... Oh, crap. What is it called? It's something to do with... the album name, but it kind of documents how they made it, and I think you don't see a lot of that in your artists, and it's kind of this is a bad reference, but like how you got hyped for Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star's makeup collection by watching them go through the process of making it. Kind of. So this was kind of the thing with the album, is that you got invested in watching them make it and learning about them and the process they go through, and it was cool. And they didn't cut parts out. Like, you could see them kind of like butt heads and argue, and it was cool to see the process, because guess what, we're not musical artists and we don't get to go through that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the documentary for
they have a couple of them apparently.
Probably
8123 Fest, which is their year one documentary.
That's just their... So they put on a festival for their people in their indie record label.
Oh, it's year one of the fest?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just because on their YouTube channel, it's titled Year One Documentary. They also have Behind Forever Halloween.
Nope, that's not it either. It has a... Crap.
Stingray Quello?
It has a... Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, Bo. I'm so frustrated. It has an eye with tears.
Oh, that's right here.
What's it called?
Call the One?
Nope.
No, that's what this website is called. But I see the thing right here. I'm waiting on the page to load. Fucking... Oh, my God. Go away. This thing. Miserable Youth. Miserable Youth. That's
it.
Yeah.
So it's a doc. It's really cool. It's like it's not that long. It's maybe like 4 or 5 parts. But yeah, if you are interested in like watching artists do their thing, kind of cool. I would love to someday like write an article and kind of just delve into like how they function as a group. I just think it's really, the way they function is refreshing almost compared to a lot of bands.
I just read that they won an Arizona Ska Punk Award, which is not a genre that I would put the main in.
Used to be. They used to be an
It's from
emo
2009.
Band.
So
there you
like,
go.
Yeah.
They used to be a super emo band, and like if you listen to their old stuff, they had the sound that I described that you refuse is like a thing. The emo sound.
Oh yeah.
The like the late 2000s sound.
No, that's definitely a sound.
Right now.
Yeah, no, like Fall Out Boy, like
early
Mayday
Panic
Parade,
at the Disco.
early Panic at the Disco. Exactly. Yeah. We like. I'm not arguing that that's a sound. There was just a certain band that you applied it to that I did not agree with.
It's like the epitome of that band.
We're not
talking about it.
We're not doing that again.
Oh God, listen to this album. It's amazing. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Makes me happy.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time.
I sing in the shower a lot.
Oh.